Theatre Royal in 1926 was closed as a theatre. The land where the Theatre Royal is owned by Green King, which is the brewery. People weren't going to the theatre anymore, and so it closed. The Theatre Royal Bury closed, and for 40 years it was used as a barrel store by Green King, and it was just neglected and gone, and it was falling down, it was dilapidated. And in 1959-ish, a group of people in the town got together and thought we might try and get it open again.
What the project is all about is creating an archive of memories about that time in the theatre's history. So what we've been doing with the project is we've been creating an archive of oral histories. So we've had volunteers who have been trained, and they have been going out and interviewing individuals, and we are then cataloguing all of those interviews, and they'll be creating an oral history archive, and we are hoping that that will then be deposited with the National Trust, and then they will be kept for posterity. It's been wonderful meeting a whole host of different volunteers who have been out researching at the Records Office and have been interviewing the people who were around during the 1960s and were involved in the Theatre Royal's restoration from 1965. It's also been really interesting finding out about how hard the community members worked. The theatre was really brought back to life by a community of volunteers who not just worked to fundraise, but we're also talking about the wider community of Bury St Edmunds. There were volunteers who were putting on fundraisers, coffee mornings, but it's also the members of the wider Bury St Edmunds community who were donating money towards the Theatre Royal to restore it and reopen it. I think it's been really useful to engage with younger audiences about heritage and history, but not in a conventional way. So we've been able to introduce young people to oral history and the history of the theatre, but in a really creative way. So they've been able to explore the history of the theatre through verbatim theatre.
Verbatim theatre is basically when you do research or you go and interview someone, and then you
about an event that's happened, like an actual thing that's happened, so
that's relevant to what you're working on.
And use that information to interpret it into a piece of drama.
Well, I interviewed my next door neighbours, and they had been living in Bury since they were like 20 in the 1960s, something like that. They'd been married, and I asked them what they thought of Bury and how Bury was connected to them when they were growing up and stuff. So the one memory that he could think of was the cattle market.
And I had someone else's interview, but they were talking about Winston Churchill's funeral. So we've managed to eventually incorporate everything into one piece. It's a lot about flowing and making sure everything links together.
Yeah. We've been adding to our little piece that we're creating a piece of verbatim theatre.
Where we've got loads of different stories. So the story of the cookie cutter houses, but also of the cattle market in Bury, which is relevant to the theatre and stuff, and
also
Bury
about the 60s.
And the 60s,
because even before this, I pretty much based my idea of the 60s on Hairspray. Yeah. So it's like helped to develop my learning as well about everything.
Especially in Suffolk, which most of the stories were on. The project about the theatre has helped us understand different theatre techniques and stuff, as well as a lot of information about the theatre.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of interesting to hear like how life would have been for other people in the past. Yeah. And it was nice learning different things about the 60s because we got to kind of live life and we got to see little clips of the 60s and know what it was like then. Yeah. When Hattie first said 60s, we all thought, well, I think most of us thought it was kind of be like facts about the 60s and kind of boring like school, but actually it was a lot more interesting and it kind of had a proper storyline.
In Bury St Edmunds in the early 1960s, there was a terrible occurrence. Moyses Hall, Bury's beloved museum, was hit by one.
My mum and me have had loads of brilliant fun making some armour out of cardboard that I'm going to be wearing.
No, and were never to be recovered. To this day, no one knows who did it. It's done.
And I'm the narrator, and I'm really proud of my lines, and I'm really happy with my part.
we were all together when we did family stuff in the 60s, and we weren't always on our computers or wanting to eat dinner in front of the TV. We were together and we talked about our day, and we did most things together.
A small team to come together, to be trained in oral history and how to carry out interviews and that sort of thing. So we had a day's training. And then we've been out with these recorders to interview people who were involved in the restoration project.
Charles Blackburn directed by
Yes.
Spirit.
Yes.
Yes, and woe betide
And of
anybody who
course,
got on the wrong side of it.
He was the first on the management committee, wasn't he? He and his brother, they both,
yes.
one of them was the chairman and the other one was whatever.
Neville was the secretary. I should think that Charles was the chairman.
Yeah.
Yes, dear.
And of course, John Petch
John Petch.
was the house manager.
He was.
Yes, amongst many
And
other
I've got
things.
pictures of him, and he was in by Spirit, of course.
Yeah.
But there's something really good about listening to people's memories and hearing their stories. Although 50 years ago is a long time, so some of them were finding it quite difficult to remember details.
It's funny because people ask me about it, and lots of people say to me, oh, well, I mean, it doesn't sound like the most exciting story. You know, it was a barrel store, and eventually it became a theatre again. But it is for me, writing, it's been one of the most enjoyable, exciting things. We're going to use a lot of community actors, people that live in Bury who want to act in it. When people do a project like that, they put their heart and soul into it. And then when people get, when things go wrong, it's heartbreaking. So even though I've pushed the funny bit, things go wrong. Genuinely, if I was just talking to a friend, I'd say it's an extraordinary story about incredibly strong and determined people. And there are ups and downs. Where we're at now is we're a week away from it opening. I wrote the script and got to the ending, and we had a reading at the Theatre Royal. After I heard the reading, I felt the script, how can I put this? It was good and the story was good, but it lacked joie de vivre. It lacked joy, I suppose. And so that's what we're missing. So their passion was missing. So why would the audience enjoy people that were quite interested in a historic building? They can't say it, but they can sing it. And I thought, dare I take the script and insert music and songs into it? It's a new piece of writing that's always untested. It doesn't matter how good we think moments are. We don't know. But I'm excited. For the project, I think it's going to go very well.
Absolutely wonderful.
That's my feeling.
Amazing.
It's full of joie de vivre.
I'm enjoying it a lot. It's great.
There's lots of friendships been made, and that's coming through. That is important for the play. That's coming through the company. When they sing, they're relaxed and they're full of life. So we've got enough ingredients with a happy company, good script, and brilliant music to hope we've done enough.
Most of you know that I was in the RAF, and many of you will know our motto, per ardua ad astra, through struggles to the stars. Nothing could more aptly sum up what we have done here. But it's funny, you know, when we look back on life, we don't remember the struggles, or if we do, they take their rightful place at the back, perhaps in the balcony. What remains at the forefront of my mind is the people. Always the people. You are the stars. I will remember your faith, your determination, and your dogged hard work. And it has been a privilege to work with you. I can't say thank you because you didn't do it for me, but maybe the future will thank you. Thank you for giving them a place to play and to meet and to make new friends. And when we are gone, long forgotten, this theatre will stand as proud testament to our achievement.
Everyone needs a home, somewhere to play. high.